Okay, we continue with management. We just finished management roles and we move on to another type. And here is manager's role. Okay, here's what we have. A manager's role is to influence action. In other words, to make other people do things. Okay? And sometimes they manage actions directly. They manage actions directly means the manager comes in class and tells me what to do, what not to do, and they can do this very, very directly. Okay? They can also manage people who take action. Okay? So, you manage your own actions, you manage other people's actions. Okay? Alright. Hello. Alright, we're trying to get started. And also, they manage information. So, they manage the action directly. They manage the people who do the action, or they manage the information about, or the information that people get to take. So you can just tell people by giving them information, or okay, you can just manage the people, or you can go and actually do the job yourself, or be sure. So if or when something is important, the manager usually comes and makes sure it gets done right. For example, for a university, opening of academic year is very important. And if it's very important, the president will usually come and open the academic year because it's very important. Okay? All right, so that's one way. All right, manager's dual role. That's a little bit tricky. Manager has a lot of many different roles. Sometimes they have 2 roles, 3 roles, 10 different roles. You just saw on the previous example, they have 10 different roles, okay? They also have 4 different functions. And one of them is framing. The other one is scheduling. Framing is to frame a problem. In framing a problem, for example, framing my work as department chair and dean, explain to me, you have to speak more clearly. Our students don't speak native English, okay? They need a little bit more explanation. So framing means we are now in Thailand. English is not your native language, and language is relatively important here, okay? In the United States, not a problem. But here, it's different. Teaching before in Macau, language is not native. Teaching in Taiwan before, language is not. So, you need to understand where the problem is, or English in America is not a problem. English in Saudi Arabia is a problem, okay? English here is a difficulty, okay? So, it is the same thing, but for me, framing means I'm having hard times in Thai language. I don't know any, okay? So, I need to operate only in English language, okay? And the other one, of course, for a manager is scheduling. And scheduling simply means the way I explained. You teach this course, Monday and Tuesday. I teach management on a Tuesday afternoon and Wednesday morning. So they schedule whether it's the 7-11 work hours or whether it's the course hours. Okay? So a manager has got a lot of different functions, a lot of different roles. And sometimes, like the department chair, they also have their own classes. They also have their own lectures, okay? Besides managing us. All right, let's see what else. So, what does it take to be a big boss, all right? What does it take to be a manager? You can't be done, right, and be a manager. Well, you could, but the business is going to go bankrupt, okay? So, you need certain skills. And number one is conceptual skills, okay? You need to be able to analyze and diagnose complex situation. For example, you're running and managing a big hotel in Phuket Town, okay, or in Patong, right? You need to understand the big picture. Europe now is in recession. Europe is in big trouble. So you get less European customers, okay? Tourists. Britain is in a major recession. Oh, you will not get as many British tourists, okay? America is now in a recession. You're not going to be getting so many American tourists. Well, now Japan is also getting in a little bit of trouble. You're not going to be getting as many Japanese tourists, okay? And here's now the worst news. The worst news that the Chinese economy is decelerating, meaning the Chinese economy is growing slower. And when Chinese economy grows slower, means you're going to get less or a lower number of Chinese tourists, okay? So, for a manager, he needs to be able to analyze the complex situation. Here, the complex situation is the global economy that affects tourism in Phuket Town, okay? That's a very complex. And they'll need to understand, oh, maybe this year not as good as last year. Meaning, we will hire less employees, okay? So we will not expand our business. So you need to be able to conceptually understand your business, and I was explaining to conceptually understand your environment. The next important skill is interpersonal skill. A manager works with people. It works with other employees. So it's important to be able to communicate with them. It's important to be able to explain with them. It's important to be not to get in an argument with them, okay? Interpersonal skill also means when two other employees have problem or argument, you try to solve it, okay? So most of the time, a manager will be working on people problem. People. Somebody, for example, cut his hand or fell on the bike, cannot come to work, okay? They need to find a replacement for 2 weeks, okay? Or there may be all sorts of different problems. Somebody gets sick, okay? Or somebody not using textbook, or whatever the problem might be. Usually, if you have people, you have problems, okay? And big part of a manager's job is to manage the problems of different people. For example, when I was in a university teaching before, a big problem with one of our professors was he was drinking too much alcohol. He's party all night. And in the morning, he's still drunk. Okay? Well, that's a problem in a university. Okay? When a professor comes at 8 o'clock in the morning in class, and he is a little bit drunk. Okay? That's a problem. Well, it's the manager's job to solve these little problems, to talk to him, to communicate to him, to tell him, look, you come one more time drunk and you're out, okay? Somehow they have to tell him what to do. Okay. A manager will have to have technical skills. And technical skills simply means manager knows the subject. Manager understands the subject. For example, the manager understands the difference between my course management and accounting, okay? A simple example will be for accounting course. My exam is only open book, open note, open laptop, open iPad, open everything in accounting. Because you need to do problems, you don't need to memorize. In management, everything closed. The exam is only pen and paper, okay? So it is important to understand that management is very different from accounting. That the one type of exam does not work for another type of exam, okay? Another example is to understand that it's difficult to get multiple choice questions for accounting. Well, how does it work? Well, I don't know, all right? The only way it works is in accounting we give you a problem and you solve the problem. There is no multiple choice, okay? So, a manager needs to have the technical skills. The manager needs to understand the different subject. And oh yes, accounting very different from management, very different from finance. We cannot have the same type of exam for these two courses. They're very different courses, okay? Because it's very easy for manager to say, oh, all exams the same for all courses. Well, but the courses are different, okay? So they need to know. If you're managing a hotel, you need to know and understand the hotel business, okay? If you're managing a restaurant, you need to know and understand customers, cooking, and whatever else is in the restaurant business, okay? So now, the one business I can manage is school, university. Okay? Because that's the business I'm in. That's the business I manage. And finally, it's actually in big business. Hello? We got about 15 more minutes. Who else is talking here? Yeah, we still got people talking. Alright. Everybody, please. We got 15 more minutes. Let's finish for today. So we're done. Political skills. And in political skills, it is very important for a manager to be able to negotiate between people. Part of politics is to get allies. Oh, you're going to be helping me with this, I'm going to be helping you with that. Part of political skills is called the power base. Okay, I'll support you in this. I will support you in this. I will support you. You will support me back, okay? So, part of a political skill is being able to get supporters and to try to do what you want to do. For example, you want to introduce a brand new product. You say, hey, you want to participate on the new product? You want to participate on the new product? Or you want to participate on the new service? So, the idea is managers need skills. Conceptual, interpersonal, technical, and political. And these are very important. So, when you study hospitality and tourism, the major part of your education will be, you need to understand the hospitality business, the hotel business, the restaurant business. You need to be able to communicate to other people. That's why language skill is very important. Writing skill is very important, okay? You also need to know about Italian cooking and about Japanese cooking. I don't know, Chinese cooking, Mexican, whatever it is you do, okay? You need to know your job. That's what technical skill means. And it says job-specific knowledge, okay? Whatever it is. I mean, you can't open a Japanese restaurant and you don't know anything about Japanese food. It doesn't work, okay? Right? Like me, I cannot teach course in cooking, right? I teach finance, I teach accounting, I teach management, I teach business, okay? I can't teach music, can I? Well, maybe I can play, right? Great MP3 player. Okay, and you need skills in negotiation. All right, so who is doing what? Remember, the 4 major functions were organizing, planning, controlling, and leading. Let's see who's doing most planning. Most planning is, little planning, more planning, most planning. So, top managers do a lot of planning. So, if you're a big boss, you focus on planning. Okay, so top managers focus on planning. And here's what else. Organizing. These do a little organizing at the low level. These do more. This is 24%. This is 33%. And you see, organization is a big part of top management. So, top management is focused on the big picture, it's focused on planning, and it's focused on organizing. For example, the president of university isn't going to care about management, isn't going to care about marketing, right? He's not going to care about specific parts, okay? He's going to care about, do we open a brand new campus? Do we open a brand new major? Okay? Are we going to have one more major in English language? Okay? So they are going to say, okay, well, how many rooms we need? How many buildings we need? How many professors we need to hire? A big part of the planning is, we will find out later, it's called the budget. Budget means how much money we need. We're going to say we need 10 professors, 50,000 each. We need $500,000 for professors and $500,000 for administrators. Okay? So part of the planning is also getting the budget, meaning getting the money that is needed to run the business. Okay? What else? You see, these guys do a lot of control, okay? So top managers actually do a lot of control. These do a little bit less, and these do less. And you see, top managers do more planning, they do more organizing, they do more control, but they do relatively little leading. So, who's doing the leading? The leading is done by the first level manager, okay? So, the department chair is going to do a lot of the leading, okay? They will be working specifically with people, trying to get this course and this, that, and that, all of those things. So, top management focused on planning and organizing, and low management, or first level management, is focused mostly on leading. They still do some planning, but not as much. They still do some organizing, but not as much, okay? They still do some controlling, but not as much, okay? So, the higher up you are, the more planning, organizing, and control. Okay. These are some of the roles that we already spoke. And you see, if you are very high managers, okay, and here's the key. In small business and in large business. If you're in a small business, you have more of a role of spokesperson. Okay? So, small business means 7 or 8 people. Okay? So the manager is going to be more of a spokesperson. Okay? Let's see. If it's a very small business, 7, 8, 9 people, the manager is going to be also entrepreneur, okay? They're going to be also figurehead. They're also going to be leaders, okay? So the smaller the business, the more the manager, and here it is, becomes a leader, okay? For example, I got a friend, he owns a radio station. The radio station has only about 15 employees. He's the owner, he's got a manager. Well, the manager is acting sometimes as a spokesperson. He's very often an entrepreneur. He says, hey, we can do this program, we can do that program. The manager is acting as a figurehead. He represents the radio, he goes to court, he goes to the media. He's also a leader, so they act. If you're a small firm, the manager has more and more and more roles, okay? And here's the key. If you're in a large firm, the biggest role of a top manager is resource allocation. They say, the budget of this university is 25 million Thai baht. You get 5 million, you get 5 million, you get 5 million, you get 5 million. Okay? And then they say we have 5 buildings. You get this building, you get this building, you get that building. Okay? So the big boss responsibility is mostly to allocate resources. Okay? He's not going to be doing a lot of, disseminating information. The president is not going to do that in the university. He's not going to tell us a lot of things. Okay? He's not going to be introducing a lot. He's not going to do it. He's the big boss, okay? He's about, okay, are we going to buy more land? Are we going to build a new door? Okay? He's going to focus on the big, important things, okay? So, question? I didn't hear. Okay, so the key is you have to understand that managers have different roles in small businesses and different roles in large businesses. And therefore, they're going to have different responsibilities. In the big business, middle management is going to be acting more as a liaison, okay? They're going to be acting more as a monitor. They're just going to be watching us. We're going to do the work. They're just going to watch us. If there's a disturbance, so if you're a big firm, these are getting more important. If you're a small firm, these are more important. Section, we got about 10-15 minutes, right? 1-4. Why is it important to study management? And that's fairly simple. First of all, there is a benefit to it. There is a benefit for you to study management, okay? And there is a benefit to running a business effectively and efficient. It's just good to know, okay? It is part of life. For example, you may not need to know a lot about trees. You may never have to deal with trees, okay? But you will be either managers or non-managerial employees. If you have your own firm, you're still going to be managers. So, no matter what you do in life, you need basic management skills, okay? Management is also important because if the managers are good, the business is good, okay? So, that's number 2. If it's a well-managed organization, so if organization has good management, business is good. To prosper means to do very well, to make good profits, to be a good business. So, good management means good business, especially in bad times, okay? So, everyone can be here a good manager in the high season where you got a lot of tourists, right? But the real hard job is when the season is low, when the tourists are few, then a manager is a good manager and a business is a good business. Being able to attract the tourists when there are few of them, when the season is low, when business is hard, okay? And that's very important. And number 3, this is the simplest one. After you graduate from school, most of you, probably 95% of you, will be either managers or managed. Many of you will begin as non-managers, meaning they're going to just start as ordinary employees. Me, I've been teaching for 15 years and I'm still not a manager, okay? I'm still just an ordinary employee teaching, all right? Because I'm the guy who gets the job done, who works with customers, okay? Sometimes the customer job is more important, okay? So, you need to study management because you benefit from it, because it's going to be important for your business, and because you're going to be a manager or managed. And finally, I think this is the last section, which are the factors reshaping and redefining management. Now, how is management changing over the last 10, 15, 20 years? Hello. All right, we have 5, 10 more minutes to finish. So, I gave you one of the many examples. It's probably coming here. One of the big changes is called globalization, okay? People coming from different countries in here as part of a tourist. Globalization is part of this university. You have professors from Bulgaria, the UK, America, from many other countries. So you got customers who are from different countries. You also have employees from different countries. Oh, you got technology from different countries, okay? You got iPads and Sony camcorders and projectors and computers. So the environment is getting more complex. The environment is getting more international. Very important now, especially for tourism, especially for the hotel industry. The environment is getting more computerized. Everything is now on the internet. Customers are on the internet. All right, let's see what the slide is saying. Okay, well, the workplace is changing. More computers, more technology, more international stuff, okay? More international professors. You also have to deal with ethics and trust. Can you trust an international professor, okay? Are they really going to be good? Are they really going to be teaching? Are they going to be working hard? Are they lazy? Okay? I mean, these are all. Well, some are Buddhists. He's Christian. Is religion going to be a problem? Okay? Well, some are Asian. Some are European. Is race going to be a problem? Okay? So, you got a lot of different little things to worry about. Okay? Education. Okay? So, you also have, and I already explained, global economic uncertainties. You don't know what's going to happen by the next season in Japan. You don't know what's going to happen with the Chinese economy, in Chinese tourists, okay? You don't know what's going to happen with the Indian economy. You get some Indian tourists here, right? You also have some Korean tourists here. Well, is Samsung going to be doing well, right? If you're buying more Samsung Galaxy, this means maybe the Korean economy is going to be doing well, okay? Well, but you're not buying iPhones, so maybe the American economy is not doing well. So you need to understand the global economic uncertainties. And I already gave you an example of changing technologies, okay? Technology is changing. all hotel, travel, airlines, everything's now on the internet. You need to know the internet, you need to understand, you need to be able to use it. Not only for Facebook, but for real work, okay? And I think this is one of the very last ones, customers. Customers are very important. Why? Because the customer brings in the revenue. The customer comes with the money, all right? And the money happens to be the most important thing in business. So, for business, the most important goal, objective is actually profit. And profit comes from revenue. And revenue is in the form of money and coming from the customers. So the only way to grow the business is to grow the customers, okay? So without customers, no business, no money, no profit, nothing. Customer is the most important in many, many ways. You here are the customers of this university. All right. It is very, very important employee attitude for customers. Meaning, for this university, you're the customer. What is my attitude? How I treat you? How I'm a nice guy or a bad guy, right? Depends on your customer satisfaction. Depends on you recommending to your friends, oh, he's a great professor, he's doing the camera thing, or he's a nice guy, oh, he doesn't give us assignments, right? Right? Whatever it is very important those who work with the customer to keep the customer happy, paying and coming back, okay? When the customer is coming back, we call it a repeat customer. Repeat customer is someone who comes back tomorrow again. In the hotel business, they come to the hotel, they stay 10 days. Next year, they come again for 10 days. And they also bring friends, okay? So that's customer satisfaction. And the first level of employees, those that work with the customers, is very, very important. Okay? And finally, managers must create a customer responsive environment. Customer responsive environment means if there is a problem, someone's got a problem, you can go to the manager, and manager immediately comes to me and says, you don't do this, you gotta do that, you gotta, for example, I keep you too late. He says, no, you cannot keep them after, 10:20, right? He said, no more, you finish, all right? So, it is very important that the manager keeps the employees responsive and responsible, meaning servicing the customer. I think we're pretty much done. Innovation. We skip innovation, okay? We're not going to worry about innovation. And we finish. We're not going to cover history, okay? So, everybody, you don't need to cover history of management, okay? So, with this, we are done for chapter 1. Now, next Tuesday, the Tuesday after that, we're going to have a quiz. And next week, we continue with chapter 2. Okay? All right, we're done for today. Thank you.